Hello, everyone. Hope you're doing fine. In today's session, let's take a look at one of the easiest and most comprehensive TradingView tool, that is TradingView Stock Screener. Most of you might have already used this, and it's very simple and intuitive tool to use. I mentioned this in my earlier videos about Pine Screener. Technically, this tool is very essential in building a short list of symbols that will be again then used in the Pine Screener. Then some people approached me and asked if I can do a video on how to use the stock screener effectively. I thought, why not? And here we are. So let's get started. The first step is like how to get to the not Pine Screener, trading your stock screener. So let's go back to homepage here. And to get to the stock screener, you go to products, screeners, and stock screeners. You can find it here. The other screeners there, it will have a similar functionality, but only difference for most of the screeners is the parameters that are available for screening will be different for different type of asset classes. Right, let's go to the stock screener now. I'll just clear all these things. Right, so just clear all these things. Okay, so now the right now we are in my stock screener, so I'll do one thing. I'll also delete this one. Or maybe I'll just do delete this because we have to do this again. I'll start with all stocks, right? So don't save or save. Okay, I'll start with all stocks. Go back again. All stocks. Okay, so right now you can see that the default by default we have US market selected, and there are 8,000 stocks in the US market. And further, if you go to and disable this primary listing, you will see that this number increases to 14,000. So there are totally 14,000 symbols available in the US market. So how do we make use of this screener to reduce the things which we want to trade, right? Let's start looking at what options are available here. So most of the fear, you can see some of the options which are already present here, right? So let's pick a small one. Let's pick like a simple one. So the market cap. So the simplest condition is to filter this based on the market cap. Let's say we want to filter only those stocks that are above 200 billion market cap and above, right? Okay, so for that you just have to go here and select this, and you'll be able to filter out all of the things apart from the top highest market cap stocks available in the US market. So let's say you don't want to do 200, you want to do some other things, like let's say 100 billion plus above, and there's no option here. So for that you have to go to manual setup, and from value is 100 billion. So you get 340 symbols here. The market cap is more than 100 billion. Right, and let's add some more conditions to this. So that we can filter it further. You can also, let's say we'll use another condition which is present here, which is PE. So PE is like price to earning ratio. So generally, technically, PE greater than zero means that the stock or the company is running profitably. So if you want to filter all the stocks that are, all the companies that are making profits, so all you need to do is select a manual setup for PE, and from value is equal to zero. So anything above zero is greater than or equal to zero. So maybe if you want, okay, zero is also not bad. If you just don't want zero, maybe you can just make it 0.01 so that it's a positive number rather than zero. And we get all the stocks. It gets filtered with all the stocks that are making profit. So 350, from 350 it actually didn't reduce too much. It reduced only few numbers. That's fine. So let's try and add few more things to it so that we get the real hang of it. So this is all about the financial, or the fundamentals of the stocks. What do we how do we add something which is like a technical, like something like moving average related condition. Let's say I want to filter the stocks where they're trending pretty trending well. So let's put a condition like 20 moving average is higher than 50, and 50 moving average higher than 100, and 100 moving average higher than 200, to filter only the strongly trending stocks in this list. So you don't see a moving average condition anywhere here, but there's a plus symbol here, and also there's other options here. But yeah, plus symbol, if you press on the plus symbol, you see that there are different criteria you can select from. There's probably around 150 or 258 different criteria which are available for selection. It includes technicals, fundamentals, and many other things, right? So let's choose technicals, or we don't have to go to here as well. You can just search moving average here, and we select simple moving average, and our condition needs to be like 20 moving average greater than 50. So there are some default options here, but I don't see an option to compare with 20 moving average and 50. So okay, there it is. Yeah, so it's 50 moving average above 100. So it's not 20, it doesn't include 20. So we still don't have a condition, default condition, which says above 50 moving average. So for that, what we do is like we go to manual setup again, and above, instead of value, we select simple moving average again here, and then 50. So 20 SMA is greater than 50 SMA. All right, so one of the conditions is done. So let's add one more SMA condition. So SMA, simple moving average. And if you go here, there's a default one, which is, right, let's see, crosses up. We don't want crosses up. Yeah, there's above SMA to 500 is there. So 50, well, the second condition what we want is 50 SMA should be above 100 SMA. So this they have a default condition here, so we don't have to do a manual setup. So there's a default option here. So just select this 50 SMA greater than 100 SMA. The next one, 100 greater than 200, similar thing, SMA, select this, and in the option here you select the 100 because we are looking for 100 greater than 200, and then there is no option to default option for 100 greater than 200. So what we do is again go to manual setup, above, and then simple moving average, and this is 200. Okay, so now the filtered list came down to 102 from 322, right? So let's see if we can add anything more. Maybe let's add RSI for condition. So let's say now we are looking for a strongly trending instruments here. So the meaningful filter would be like looking for RSI on a higher side. So relative strength index, maybe slightly overbought. So we want the ones which where the strength is higher, it's trending higher. So look for something like slightly overbought. So if you do this, the numbers comes to 37. Let's say again, you don't want to do just above 60, you want to be a little bit cautious. You want to filter things between 60 and 80. So you don't want to go for, you want to ignore anything which has RSI more than 80. So in that case, what you can do, that you can achieve it in two ways. One way is like add another condition like RSI, and then below 80. So manual setup, below value 80, you can do like this. So it's like above 60 and below 80. Otherwise you can also do, you don't want it anymore, so I'll delete this. Otherwise what we also can do is manual setup here, and in between you can use the option in between 60 and 80, right? 60 to 80, so they get selected. So we have 34 symbols here in the list. um yeah, anything else? I'm just checking if we can add anything else. Relative strength index. Okay, so we ended up with 15. Okay, that's about like filtering. You can add any number of conditions. Most of the other things are pretty similar. See if there's default option. If there's no default option, go to manual setup, try around. You can actually technically compare between any indicator value to other indicator values. You can also do things like crossing up, crossing down kind of a things. The value, I want to filter only the ones where the values are crossing up and down. That also you can do. However, only one thing what you cannot do is very, like, complex, logical conditions, which includes or and multiple, conditions, complex, logical conditions and all. So for that we have Pine Screener. Pine Screener is like a programmable one where you can use that. There's a different video which we have published for how to use Pine Screener and all, and how to develop a script for Pine Screener. Please go back and watch it if you're interested. Otherwise, this is about how we use a stock screener and the default stock screener of TradingView. Right, so let's jump on to some other things, like it's about filtering and what all things we can see in the screener display here. So there are two display views available. One is table view, which is very useful, and another one is a chart view. And chart view is probably, I don't prefer to use this because it limits how many stocks you can screen one screen. Maximum you can do 16, and probably it will just give you a bird view of, like, how it has gone, how the prices have been moving, but not much. And also there are few other options, like, what type of charts you want to see, and how many days of data I want to see, and all these things. But the most useful option for the screener is the table view, where you can see a lot of different parameters, technicals, fundamentals, and many other things, right? And also there, like, if you think, like, there's some of the fields which uh, are not here and you want to add, you also have a liberty to add something from this plus symbol. So let's say we want to add something like, what we have here. We have everything, but we don't have any technicals. Let's say we want to add RSI. So I'll just add RSI here. All right, relative strength index, 14-day, 1 day, 14-day relative, relative strength index. Also, you want to add something for 1 hour. Let's say what's happening in 1 hour. You can also add that. And yeah, so you can add as many columns as possible here, and there are a lot of options and a lot of data, and a lot of derived, like, financials and all these things which we can have in a single view. Next thing is, like, these are, like, screener conditions. They change every minute. Like, for example, the moving averages conditions that we have. Right now we have 33 symbols in the list, but tomorrow if we come back, it may be hundreds, because the moving average for every stocks will change every day. So the number of stocks coming up, of getting filtered, will also keep changing, right? So these conditions, the market cap keeps changing, P keeps changing, RSI keeps changing. So based on this, the screener will also keep changing the output every time you come. So in order to save this, like, you want to save this condition, what you can do is you can just press the save button here, and it's like, and save this as my stock screener. Okay, there you are. You've saved your screener here. um and what else we can do? I think that's all we can do with the screener. I don't think we have any option to set alerts as such. Yeah, there is no option to set alerts, so no, can't set anything. Okay, that's all about the screeners, how we can use. There's one more thing we can do. So we can save it into watch list. That's the most important thing, because this is what we need for Pine Screener. So how do we do that? So first thing what you need to do is you scroll towards the end and make sure that all the symbols which are mentioned here are loaded on the screen, because the screener has a lazy loading. Like, when you just screen it, it will load only those symbols which we can see here, right? And as and when you scroll further, it will load all the further symbols down the list. So make sure that all the symbols are loaded, and once all the symbols are loaded, click somewhere in the gray area here, so that it won't open any new tab with the information like the chart and all, but you just select this row and then press Control A so that it will select all the symbols in the list. Right, once you select them, right click, and you can use this flags to add it to a list. Like, let's say if I add to red, what happens is you go back to your watch list. You can see red list has all these symbols, right? Otherwise, what you can also do is you can create a new list. You can create a new list, my new list, my new list 101. So I just add this and create this. So yeah, here we have. Let's come up here. Right. So that's all about Stock Screener. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please let me know if you have any questions. Thanks very much for watching. Bye.